Art is the expression of human creative skill and imagination. Music is art. It is a creative outlet for people all across the world. So what is the value of that art? Well, that's subjective. The value of art is in the eye of the beholder. The value of art is determined by the person who creates it. How much is the work that they put in worth? That is up to them. An artist can decide how much they believe their effort and determination is worth. Let's say your favourite artist drops a project tomorrow, whether it be Kendrick, Drake, J. Cole. How are you going to support them? Maybe stream the album a couple of times? Well, in this day and age, with the streaming services paying artists literal pennies, streaming doesn't really contribute much to the artist. Maybe, if you're like me, you'll buy a physical copy, whether it be a CD, cassette, vinyl. Even then, you are most likely spending around $40 maximum, and a lot of that money won't even reach the artist if they're involved in a label, so that isn't the best contribution to the artist either. I mean, Kanye proved that if you have a loyal following, people will buy your art, no matter the price. People dropped $200 on the stem player that didn't even function properly and was a whole mess in its own right. So why will people pay this much money into a billionaire's back pocket just to also laugh at an underground independent artist charging $100 for a physical copy of their album? The answer is, I don't know. By the way, I have no problem with Kanye charging that much for the stem player if it worked properly and functioned as proposed. For some reason, people have this misconception about the underground and turn their nose up when artists charge higher prices for their art. But the same people probably wouldn't care if Drake started charging $100 for his physicals. The truth is, the underground is doing it right. Independent artists will not make much money from streaming services, so what is the harm in charging higher prices for their art? People are going to buy it, so why complain? The late great Nipsey Hussle is a pioneer in this sense, selling 1,000 copies of his Crenshaw mixtape for $100 almost a decade ago. When asked about the pricing, he said, "Whether we accept it or not, buying music is a choice, not a requisite. When I think of the psychology behind what makes me purchase an artist's album, it's always a form of reciprocation, almost like a token of appreciation after I experience the product." He sold out 1,000 copies in less than 24 hours, and notably, Jay-Z bought 100 of these physical copies. Jay-Z, being the businessman that he is, obviously praised Nipsey for this move, with a 1,300% profit margin on each CD that was sold. But Nipsey thought his art was worth this much, and it clearly was, as the fans and artists alike came out to support this. There have been many examples of this in the underground hip-hop scene, from the minimal to the extreme, whether it be Carr selling physicals of his album Descendants of Cain for $100 retail, or Stove God Cook selling 7 copies of his musical art piece If These Kitchen Walls Could Talk at a small price of $1 million each. But I'm here to talk about Makhomy, the masked man who has been making the most waves in the underground for quite some time now. He has been receiving so many plaudits for his ability and creative direction in music, but has also received a lot of criticism for the pricing of his music. Let's start with physical copies. Max vinyl prices have ranged anywhere from $40 to $3,000. Yep, that's right. In 2017 it cost $3,000 for a copy of the legendary Gat. And we still don't know how many copies are out there, but they have sold out. And that is my point. People will pay the price to make sure that the artist is paid fairly for their work. I mean, his legendary Griselda debut, HBO, recently got pressed at $333 each, and they all sold out. Le Hertz was on sale for $777, Dollar Menu 2 and 3, The Spook and Dump God Hommy Edition all went for $1,000 each. Yeah, this may seem excessive, but they've all sold out. So once again, the public complaining about these prices has no effect at all, because the demand is there. People will pay for this price for the art, so who can really fault Mac for wanting to be paid accordingly? I mean, a lot of these projects that people have paid up to $1,000 for are now on streaming, which I do think must hurt for the people who bought them as an exclusive, but I suppose knowing you supported the artist at the time is still a good thing. The one that's been making the rounds recently is his new series of EPs, the first 3 going for $200 $22 each. So that is $666 for 12 songs. Do you think that's worth it? Well, it doesn't matter. Actually, his latest EP and the last in this 4 EP series was priced at $777 for 3 songs. And this was the one that got people talking. Would I feel comfortable paying $777 for a digital download of 3 new songs? No. Would I feel comfortable paying that much for anything music related? Probably not. But why complain? Why are people outraged at this? Mach-Hommy values his time and effort he puts into this project at this price. And as I said earlier, the value of art is always down to the artist. If Mach believes it is worth this much, then it is worth this much. If no one bought it, I'm sure he would start devaluing his art. But a lot of people buy it. And yeah, these people who do buy it could easily get these projects off certain websites for free. But they want to support the artist, and in this day and age where artists are often underpaid for their work, hats off to the people who do support these artists, making sure they do get paid fairly. You know, if streaming services actually paid artists for their work, I'd understand people arguing about Makhomy pricing his work like this, but they don't. So why stop the man from making his money and continuing his career in hip hop? And especially, Makhomy isn't no slouch. He's proved himself to be one of the greatest and most creative rappers of the last decade, so his art is already of high value. It will always have eyes on it, and he has proved himself again and again and again. The chances are, if you pay for his art, you aren't going to be disappointed. Anyway, I don't really know the point of this video. I guess I quite admire Makhomy and how he has learned to value his art, to make sure he gets paid fairly in a world where the majority of artists don't. Thank you so much for watching. Please leave a like and subscribe. Over 80% of my viewers aren't subscribed, so I'd really appreciate that extra support. Thank you.